I didn't know I was in hell at first. That's the part people don't expect. There was no moment of realization, no warning, no transition. I was just somewhere else. The place didn't look like anything from stories. No fire, no darkness swallowing everything. It looked unfinished, like a structure that was abandoned halfway through being built. Long corridors that didn't lead anywhere specific. Walls that stopped abruptly, like someone ran out of materials. Lights that flickered, not dramatically, but constantly, as if they were struggling to stay on. The first thing I noticed was how quiet it was. Not silent, just restrained. Sound existed, but it felt muted, like the air itself didn't want to carry it very far. There were people there, a lot of them, more than I could count. They weren't arranged neatly, no lines, no order. They just stood, or sat, or leaned against walls that looked solid but somehow felt temporary. No one was talking unless they absolutely had to, and even then, their voices sounded wrong, flat, dry, like they hadn't been used in a long time. At first, I thought it was some kind of waiting area. That made sense to me. Waiting implied movement. Eventually, I remember walking for a while. Not far. You don't walk far there. The further I moved from where I first appeared, the worse it felt. Not pain, pressure. Behind the eyes, in the chest, like the place was resisting me. I stopped walking because the resistance stopped too. That's when I noticed something else. No clocks. No windows. No screens. Nothing that could tell you how long you'd been there. I asked someone nearby how long it had been. He didn't answer immediately. He just looked at me, not confused, not angry, just tired. After a while, he said, "You'll stop asking that." Then he looked away. I didn't understand what he meant at the time. I thought he was being dismissive. Later, I realized he was just stating a fact. People don't get tired there. Not the way you expect. You don't feel sleepy. You don't feel rested. Your body stays in a constant state of times, almost times functioning. It's like being awake during a fever that never breaks. Some people stood in the same positions for what felt like years. Not frozen. They shifted occasionally, adjusted their weight, but they never really left their spot. Others sat on the floor, some with their backs against walls. Some just sitting upright, staring straight ahead. No one told them to stay there. They just did. I started noticing the sounds next. At first, it was screaming. A lot of it, overlapping, echoing badly through the corridors. It wasn't theatrical. It wasn't loud in a cinematic way. It was raw, uncontrolled. That kind of scream that happens when your body realizes something before your mind can make sense of it. I screamed too. I don't remember deciding to. It just happened. But screaming doesn't last. Pain doesn't stay sharp forever. It spreads. It dulls. It becomes heavy. The screaming thinned out over time. Not because anything improved, but because screaming started to feel unnecessary. You start conserving energy, even though there's nothing to spend it on. That's when you notice the people who've been there longer. They still react, still flinch, still tense when something hurts. But they don't make noise anymore. Some of them keep their mouths open, not screaming, just open, like their bodies remember what they used to do, even if the sound never comes. I watched one person try to scream for a long time. Nothing came out. He didn't look surprised. That's when I realized something important. The sound wasn't being taken away. We were. The longer you stayed, the less of you there was to hear. I kept waiting for something to appear. A demon, a voice, anything, something to explain what was happening. Nothing ever came. People got hurt constantly. Sometimes they fell. Sometimes they collapsed without warning. If someone fell, they stayed there until they could stand again. Or until they didn't. No one rushed to help. Not because they were cruel. Because it didn't matter. Helping didn't change anything. Not the pain. Not the place. Not the outcome. That was when it really started to settle in. This place didn't react to us. It didn't acknowledge suffering, didn't reward endurance, didn't punish resistance. It just continued. I realized there was no one in charge, no supervision, no audience. Hell didn't need anyone to run it. It functioned on its own, like a system that keeps operating long after the people who built it are gone. That thought scared me more than anything else, because if someone was watching, at least it would mean we mattered enough to be watched. I don't know how long I was there. Eventually, the idea of time stopped forming properly in my head. You don't think in terms of before and after anymore. Just still. Still here. Still standing. Still hurting. At some point, I stopped expecting anything to happen. That expectation leaving was noticeable. It felt like something shutting off. I remember thinking, very clearly, asterisk, this isn't going to end. Asterisk, not dramatically, not with panic, just acceptance. And that was the worst moment, because once you accept that, the place doesn't need to do anything else to you. I don't remember leaving. There was no exit, no release. I was just not there anymore. Sometimes I wonder if I actually left, because even now, things feel different, not better, just thinner. Sounds don't feel as solid as they used to. Time feels unreliable. And every now and then, when things are quiet enough, I remember that pressure behind my eyes, and I know exactly what it meant.